One of our goals at MedFitness is to make strength training a forever behavior. In other words, we want to teach our clients not only how to strength train here in the studio when we're supervising and coaching them, but we want to give them some how-tos so they can strength train when they're traveling, on vacation, away from home, for whatever reason. To do that, we've created the MedFitness Away from Home program. That program has 3 basic resources. The first one is the program guide. This is a very simple guide that's going to identify some of the how-tos and what to-dos of the program. We're going to build on this tonight and expand on the details of the program guide. We also have a MedFitness Away from Home workout chart, very much like the workout chart we use with you here in the studio. This is very simple. It's going to allow you to track what you're doing as well as the machine settings so you have a reference for the workout that you're engaging in when you're away from home. Lastly, we're going to use your own workout chart, your workout data. This data will be used with the conversion factor to determine how much weight should you lift on leg press, where should you start on chest press, compound row, and so on. So we're going to use your own personal numbers to give you a workout that you can follow when you're away from home. Now, the MedFitness Away from Home program is based on the same 3 principles, which we call the strength imperatives here in the studio. Those 3 principles are train twice a week, go slow, and be progressive. Let's break each of these down. Twice a week means 2 full body strength workouts a week. This is the same that we would do here in the studio. We're not going to change anything here. Full body workouts at a high level of intensity will improve and protect your health the same way away from home as at home. So we're still going to recommend 2 full body strength workouts per week with our away from home program. We're also going to recommend that you train slow, but because the equipment will be a little different, we're going to recommend a slightly faster speed of 5 seconds up, 5 seconds down. A little faster than what we do in the studio, mainly because the equipment is different. Still a great speed, still very safe. Because we're going faster, we're going to recommend more repetitions. You're doing 6 repetitions per set in the studio. We're actually going to recommend 8 to 12 with your away from home workout. So faster speed, 5 up, 5 down, more repetitions, 8 to 12 repetitions per set. And lastly, when it comes to being progressive, we're going to use a conversion formula that's in the guide to determine from your own workout data where you start on these exercises. So we're going to take your actual weights that you work out with and convert them to actually a lower weight for your program. And so with those 8 to 12 repetitions, our real objective here is to achieve that momentary muscle fatigue. That's the point where you cannot do another full repetition with good form or good speed. That is the whole goal of the workout. Now, our next step is to teach you how to set the machines up and what to look for when you're performing those exercises. So we have 6 exercises listed in the program guide. The reason we've chosen these 6 is that they're all linear or compound movements. In other words, you're pushing or pulling in a straight line. This uses multiple joints and works multiple muscle groups. So these are very effective exercises for working all the big muscles on your body. They're also a little easier to perform properly. So in an unsupervised environment, you're generally going to do better performing a pushing and pulling motion than you are trying to get perfect form with some of these more complicated rotary exercises. So we're sticking with the linear movements. Pushing and pulling are really the centerpiece of the workout. The first exercise is leg press. The program guide is going to give you the basic to-dos of how to set the machine. I'm going to demonstrate that to you here today. So with the leg press, the seat slides in or out. So I want you to set the seat so that when you lean back and put your feet up on the platform, you have a right angle between your lower leg and your upper leg. So this is a perfect start position for me. I also want that shoulder width stance. I want your head back in a pretty neutral position, and so if there are handlebars, go ahead and grab the handlebars. Here we're just going to drive forward, pushing through my heels so that my feet are always flat. I want to push up until I've got just a slight bend in my knees. Right about here is my top. I want to avoid that lockout. And then as I come down, I want to make sure my knees travel over my heels. I don't want them to buckle in like this. I keep a straight line and come all the way down to that bottom position. The target on this one is the first couple inches. I want to go very slow right at the beginning, just barely moving off the weight stack, pushing through to that same top position where I've got a slight bend in my knee, but I'm not locking out, and then returning to that start. So that right angle starting position is important to keep the exercise safe, and avoiding the lockout in the top is important as well. To get out, I'm just going to hit my release lever. Those are the basics for the leg press. Now we've transitioned to the chest press. The one thing to know about your chest press away from home is that it might not have an adjustable back and seat like ours does here at MedFitness. So it may have one, it may have both, it might have neither. So either way, if you have an adjustable seat and back, two things to know, and again, this is on your program guide. I want to adjust the back so that it's a comfortable stretch to reach the handlebar. So I feel what we would describe as comfortable tightness in my chest and my shoulder. I don't want to tear my shoulder off to try to get into this. So this feels good to me, comfortable stretch. I also want the seat in a position where the handlebars are across my lower chest. So I wouldn't want them up high or down below my rib cage. So right about the bottom of the chest. So this is a perfect setting for me. From this position, I'm just going to comfortably put my arms out to the side. They don't need to be flared way up or way down, just sort of comfortably out to the side. I'm also keeping my head in that neutral position, so I don't want my head flexed back like this, just like I'm standing straight up. From this position, I'm starting similar to what I did on the leg press. Very slow beginning, just barely moving off the weight stack. I'm going to drive the handlebars all the way until my arm is just about fully straightened, just a hair short of a lockout. The other thing I want you to do is maintain a neutral wrist. So I don't want your hands dropping down like this. This is very stressful on that joint. So to keep it neutral, keep it right behind your hand. Keep your elbows out slightly. And then as you stretch back on this exercise, or many, you can't see the weight stack. You just have to go back, feel a light touch, and then slowly push into that next repetition the same way you did on the first one. So very similar to the leg press in terms of a slow start at the beginning, up just short of a locked out arm, and then coming right back down. Nice and easy, maintaining that neutral head and just breathing as you go, taking air in and out, avoiding holding your breath. Our next exercise is compound row. Now on this one, your compound row machine might look a little bit different from the one we have here. When I sit down, what I'm normally doing is leaning into that chest pad and bracing myself there. Many compound row machines don't have a chest pad. You might just have some foot pedals out in front, right about here, where you're simply brace yourself by putting your feet up against those foot pedals. If that's the case, that's fine. You're going to simply lean forward, grab the handlebars, and then get up into an upright position similar to what I'm into here. If you have a chest pad, that's great. That just helps you to keep that proper form. So in either way, once I'm into that position, I'm simply going to reach forward and grab the handlebars. From this posture, all I'm doing is pulling into my waist. So this is a rowing motion. My goal being to keep my torso stationary and to pull my elbows back as far as I can go. So for me, it's right about here. What I don't want to do is lean away, so I don't want to start to do this. You'll see people do that. This is not how the exercise is designed to be used. So this gives you a rest. Keep your chest forward and stay motionless and stationary. The other thing you don't want to do is turn your wrist. People will sometimes do this. That's very bad for the wrist also. So keep it neutral, keep it straight. And then as you're returning to the start position, just make sure that you're stretching all the way down till your arm is fully straightened. My bottom is right here. What I don't need to do is roll my shoulders forward, which you'll see a lot of people do. So keep that upright posture and just let your arm fully stretch out. And then I'm just going to set that weight down. Next exercise is seated dip. Your seated dip might look a little bit different than what we have here at MedFitness. Some seated dips have a back that leans forward. If you see that in your fitness center, you're just going to slide all the way back in the seat and be in a forward position. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. That's a good position to be in. Some seated dips may or may not have an adjustable seat. I've got ours already adjusted, and I'll show you where we adjusted. If you do have an adjustable seat, we'll show you where it should be. If it doesn't have an adjustable seat, you're just going to sit, slide back, and go grab the handlebars. But with ours, I'm going to step in, and I've already set my seat where I want it to be. I always want to slide all the way back in the seat. We have a seat belt. Some have seat belts, some don't. If you've got a seat belt, I'd say definitely use it, get it snug, anchor yourself. If you don't have one, you just have to work without it. I've set my seat so that when I lean forward and I reach up to my handlebars, I've got, again, a comfortable stretch on the chest and shoulder. I want just comfortable tightness. I don't want to be in pain. I don't want to be overstretched. Just like on the chest press, I don't want pain through the front of my shoulder and my chest. So this is an easy grip for me, and I'm getting a nice stretch on the chest. So from here, I've got a slightly lean forward position. I'm really gripping right below my underarm. I also want your elbows out to the side, so I don't want them tucked in tight. This is going to allow me to engage the chest in a higher level and not rely on the smaller muscle, which is the tricep. All I'm doing from this position is driving straight down. On this one, again, it's a little bit like the chest and this leg press where I don't want to lock out. I'll go right about here as my bottom. I don't want to lock my arms. This is really a resting position. I'm not working the muscles in this locked posture. So I want a slight bend in my arm, and then as I stretch back up, I'm holding my torso stationary. As I stretch up to that top position where I started, I can feel my chest stretching, and again, returning back into that push-down position, going slow off the stack, holding my posture. So the key is I maintain this lean, I push down to a little bend, don't lock out, and really keep my shoulders and my torso stationary as I'm going through the movement. This is a great upper body exercise. I'm getting my tricep, shoulders, and chest, and a little bit of trunk, a little bit of abdominal wall on this one as well. And that's the seated dip. Next exercise is pull down. Some pull down machines don't have an adjustable seat, so you're just going to sit down on the seat, reach up, and begin the exercise. Those that do have an adjustable seat, I want you to set the seat so that it's a comfortable reach to get a full stretch in the top position. So I've set my seat. I'm going to reach up to my top with a shoulder width grip, underhand grip, and from this position I'm just pulling straight down into my chest. I'm going to go all the way until my handlebars are as close to or touching my chest. So this is my bottom right here. In this position, I want my wrist to stay neutral, so I don't want to be flexing and bending my wrist. Just the way it is perfect. And then I'm going to stretch all the way back up to that top position, light touch in the top, and then right back into that next repetition. So this is a great upper body motion. I'm getting my back, shoulder, some bicep work, a little bit of forearm, and even my abdominal wall is getting a little bit of stimulus on this exercise. Our next exercise and last exercise is overhead press. This is a shoulder exercise. Again, on this one I've adjusted the seat, so when I grab the handlebars, my hands are about even with my shoulder. So this is a great starting position for me. I wouldn't want the seat so high that I'm reaching down like this or so low that I'm starting up here. So I want a good, comfortable stretch that shoulder. This feels good to me. Most overhead press machines will have an adjustable seat, so that shouldn't be a problem. Here what I'm doing is I'm grabbing out in front of me and I'm simply pressing straight overhead until my arms are slightly bent. So I don't want to lock out on this one. So right about here is my top. This far would be too far. I can really rest in this top. So just a little bend, avoid that lockout, keeping my elbows directly below the handlebars as I come down. I don't want those elbows to flare out. So right below the handlebar, all the way down to a super light touch. Now your exercise machine may have handlebars out to the side like this, and so if you don't have handlebars in front, you're just going to have to grip out to the side. Same rule applies. You're going to be pushing overhead until you have just a slight bend in your arm. I don't want you to lock out. Here, of course, your elbows are out to the side. They need to be out to the side to perform this properly, so all the way down to that bottom touch. If you do have handlebars that are in front of the machine, I would encourage you using these. This is a more ergonomically and biomechanically easy and safe performance position to be in. So you'll find this is a little more comfortable pressing overhead from this angle than it is with your arms out to the side. And just all the way down to that bottom touch. And so that's overhead press. In summary, I'd like to make 2 closing points to help you get the most out of your workout. First one is to strive to reach momentary muscle fatigue on every exercise. That's that point where you're unable to get one more good repetition. That's key for stimulating improvements in muscular fitness. And second, use your workout chart. Keep a record of your workout. People who track their workouts know what their progression should be. They're more likely to progress, and they're more likely to stick with the workouts. If you have any questions, you can always reach me at our website at medfitnessprogram.com.